Hello, welcome to our second introduction to biochemistry notes. Today we are talking about energy. So last time we said that when we eat food, we get two things from our food. We get nutrients and energy. Nutrients are the elements, the things that we can touch that make us things that we can touch that make us who we are. That is matter. And energy is something that we can't touch. And so sometimes it's hard to wrap our heads around this, but it's important that we do because it's an important part of who we are. And so we're going to talk about the second thing that we get from our food, energy. So energy is the ability to do work. There are many different types of energy. So there's light energy. So light energy comes from the sun. And so plants use light energy from the sun to do photosynthesis. If you can think of an elastic, if I were to take an elastic and pull it back, that's potential energy, that's elastic energy, and I can release that elastic and it's going to start moving forward through the air, and that's kinetic energy or moving energy. So the elastic was potential energy and kinetic is the moving energy. There's electrical energy, so we look at the bulb here. That's electricity, and so that is a type of energy. And we have chemical energy. And before we talked about chemicals, and we said that chemicals aren't just fluids. They aren't just things that we can drink. Chemicals are molecules. And so energy is found in food. It's found in molecules. And so energy can be converted from one form to another. So if we look here, we can take wind energy that's going to turn this turbine. So that is going to be converting wind energy into kinetic energy that's turning this turbine. That turbine moving is going to be converted into electricity. So we look at this heating pan here, and that electricity that's going to allow for this to warm up, that electricity is going to be converted from the kinetic energy from the turbines. That electricity is then going to be converted into heat energy, which is going to heat this heating pan. So energy can be converted from one form to another. And that's an important concept in biology. But first, let's just wrap our head around what energy is and where we find it in chemicals. The energy in our food, the stuff that we eat, is called chemical energy. And it's stored between the nutrients or the elements. So here we have a molecule or a chemical. This is a glucose molecule. Remember that glucose is a sugar. It's a very important sugar. And so here we have a hydrogen, and we have an oxygen, and we have another oxygen. And we actually have a carbon here, but it doesn't show us that. And so where is energy in this molecule? Because all I see is elements here, right? I see a hydrogen, I see an oxygen, I see a hydrogen. Those are all nutrients. Those are all elements. That's matter. Where's the energy? Well, energy is represented by these little sticks in between. These are the bonds. These are what hold the elements together. And so it's energy that holds the elements together. And so in order to get the energy from a molecule, we have to break it down. We chew it, we digest it. We break down the molecule, we break those bonds in order to get energy. That's really important. And while that isn't written in our notes, I want you to write that in your notes, that in order to get the energy out of this molecule, we have to break the bonds. And that energy is released in us. And so that is how we get energy from our food. We break the bonds. And that is essentially what digestion is. So there is chemical energy in the wood. So here we are breaking the bonds with fire. So there is chemical energy in the wood in this match. And so we are converting, we are breaking those bonds, and we are releasing the energy, and it's being converted into light energy and heat energy. So the energy, the chemical energy in the wood is being released. The fire is releasing it as light energy and heat energy. So that's an energy conversion, what we're talking about. And so what's happening is those bonds in that wood are being broken and that energy is being released. That's very similar to what happens to us when we eat food. If you put your hand on your forehead, you can feel that you're warm. That is because you are breaking bonds and releasing energy. It is a very similar thing. So when we eat food with chemical energy in it, we convert it into a few different things. One thing that we convert it into is kinetic energy. It's what allows us to move. So you can move your hands, you can move your head, you can walk. She's exercising and she's fueling her energy. She's fueling her exercise with this apple. So she's going to eat this apple, break it down. She's going to digest it. And digestion is just simply breaking bonds, breaking big things into smaller things. And so that kinetic energy allows us to move, it allows us to think. And also, so we convert chemical energy into movement energy, but we also convert it into heat too. So that's an important concept. So while we cannot touch energy, we can measure it. It is a measurable thing. So some foods have lots of energy. This banana split has lots of energy, while this celery has less energy. It does have energy in it. It does have energy in its bonds, but it has less. So how is it that we measure energy? Well, we use a unit called the calorie. So energy is measured in calories. And so what is a calorie? It is the amount of energy it takes to increase 1 gram of water 1 degree Celsius. So if we can picture 1 gram of water, this is a kilogram, but if we were to put 1 gram of water, so a small bit of water, over fire, how much energy, how much fire energy or heat energy does it take to increase that 1 gram of water by 1 degree? That is 1 calorie. And so we measure the food, the energy in our food by that same standard. So we burn energy to fuel our movement and our thought. What we don't burn, we store as fat. We store it as extra weight. So if you were to eat this burger, looks delicious, and so do these fries, if this is going to be more calories than you need in one day. And so your body isn't going to be able to burn all of these calories to use it as energy to fuel your movement and your thoughts and to give you heat. So your body's not going to give it up. It wants to hang on to it. And so therefore, what it's going to do is it's going to store it as extra weight. It's going to store it as fat in your body. So fat on your body is extra energy that your body is storing just in case it runs out. And so so if we want to lose weight, if we want to burn fat, what do we have to do? We have to expend energy. We have to go for a run. We have to be active. We have to use energy because that's all that extra weight is stored energy. Okay, I hope this helps. There's going to be a TED Ed for you after this, and let me know if you have any questions.